I shouldn't even be saying this out loud, but the memory burns inside me like a fire that refuses to die. His hands were already on me that night, gripping me, pulling me closer, his breath rough and uneven against my neck. I had promised myself I wouldn't let it go that far. But when his lips crashed against mine, when his body pressed into me with that overwhelming, almost unbearable turgidity, my knees gave way. I was trembling, aching, and whispering things no married woman should ever dare say. And the truth? His prowess was explosive. Every thrust, every bite, every moan he drew out of me was fire. But what no one tells you is that explosive passion comes with an ache. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't safe. It was destructive. And still, I begged for more. Soft pause, narrator voice breaking the wall. Before I go deeper, let me say this. If you're listening to me right now, please, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it. Because I promise you, what I'm about to reveal isn't just another story. It's my secret. My truth. My confession. Back to the story. The way it all began wasn't in a bedroom. It wasn't in some hotel hidden away from prying eyes. It was in the middle of a crowded bar in downtown Dallas, the night I tasted betrayal for the very first time. My husband had been working late, again. I was tired of sitting alone in an empty house, tired of the silence swallowing me whole. So, I dressed up, too much for a casual night, too little for a woman who claimed she wasn't looking for attention. And there he was. Tall, broad, with eyes that lingered too long and lips that curved into a smile that already knew how the night would end. When he asked if I wanted a drink, I should have said no. Instead, I let him buy me a cocktail, and with every sip, I felt my defenses slip. One drink became two. Two became laughter. Laughter became his hand brushing mine. And suddenly, the noise of the bar disappeared, like the whole world had faded until there was just him, his intensity, his boldness, his dangerous charm. I knew the first time his fingers grazed my thigh that he was going to ruin me. And God help me. I wanted him to. We slipped outside before midnight, my heart racing, my hands shaking. The summer air was warm, heavy, and every step I took away from that bar felt like I was walking further into sin. He didn't waste time. His body pinned me gently against his car, lips claiming mine with hunger that left me gasping. And when he pressed himself against me, I felt it, the raw force, the turgidity that made my breath hitch and my body ache with both fear and desire. It wasn't soft. It wasn't delicate. It was power. Pure, aching, destructive power. I should have pushed him away. Instead, I melted, my fingers digging into his shirt, my body betraying every ounce of loyalty I thought I still had. Whispered pause, breaking the wall again. And if you've made it this far with me, please, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe. Because what I'm confessing here is only the beginning, and trust me, it only gets darker, deeper, and more dangerous. Back to the memory. That first kiss wasn't the end, it was the ignition. From that night on, he became the fire I kept running back to, even though I knew I would burn. He was nothing like my husband. My husband was predictable, routine, safe. But this man, this stranger who shouldn't have meant anything, was reckless. He demanded, he devoured, he pushed me past limits I didn't even know I had. And yet, every time I thought I couldn't take more, I found myself begging him not to stop. The first night we gave in fully, it wasn't at a hotel. It was in the back seat of his car, parked in a quiet lot under the flickering light of a broken street lamp. Classy? No. Memorable? Oh, yes. He kissed me until my lips were swollen, until I was dizzy, until my body screamed for more. And when he finally gave me what I thought I wanted, it wasn't soft, it wasn't sweet. It was rough, explosive, almost unbearable. I left bruised. I left aching. But I also left addicted. Because the ache didn't scare me. It made me crave him more. That night, when I slipped back into my house, my husband was asleep on the couch with the TV still on. He didn't even stir when I walked past him. And I realized something: my husband would never know. He would never look at me and see the sin written all over my skin. And that anonymity? That secrecy? It became the thrill that kept me going back. Even now, telling you this, I'm trembling. Not from shame, but from remembering the fire he lit in me. I thought the first night was going to be the last. That I would wake up the next morning with guilt sitting heavy on my chest, reminding me that I was a wife, reminding me that I had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. But when the sunlight crept through my blinds, all I felt was fire. My lips still tingled from his kisses. My thighs still burned from his roughness. My whole body felt alive in ways I hadn't known in years. And that scared me. Because instead of guilt, I wanted more. He texted me before noon. Last night wasn't enough. I need you again. My heart slammed against my ribs. It should have been a warning sign, but it read like temptation written just for me. I stared at that message for a long time, my fingers shaking above the screen. My husband was at work, probably buried in paperwork, not even thinking about me. But this man? This dangerous, reckless man? He was thinking about nothing but me. I typed back before I could stop myself. Where? We met that evening in a cheap roadside motel. The kind with buzzing neon lights and doors that opened to the parking lot. The moment I walked into that room, he grabbed me like I belonged to him. His kiss was urgent, his hands rough, his need written in every movement. And when he pressed me against the wall, his hardness digging into me, I knew I was about to surrender again. And I did. He didn't hold back. His turgidity was merciless. Every push, every drive into me left me crying out, half from pleasure, half from the ache that tore through my body. It hurt. God, it hurt. But that pain was tangled with a sweetness that made me cling to him tighter, beg for him harder. When it was over, I was breathless, my body trembling, my hair a mess. He looked at me with that cocky grin, like he knew exactly what he had done to me. "You'll be back," he said simply. And he was right. Soft whisper, narrator breaking the fourth wall. If you're listening right now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm sharing pieces of myself I've never admitted to anyone before, not even my best friend. This is my truth, raw and unfiltered. And trust me, it only gets hotter, it only gets deeper, it only gets more dangerous from here. Back to the story. We didn't stop at that motel. We met in his car again, in hotel rooms, in secret apartments. Sometimes we barely made it past the door before he had me pressed against the nearest wall. His style was never gentle. Every time, his strength overwhelmed me. My body screamed at me to slow down, but my heart, my hunger, begged him not to stop. That ache followed me home every time. I would slip under the covers next to my husband, my body sore, my skin still humming with memory. And when my husband rolled away in his sleep, untouched, unaware, I would close my eyes and replay the fire all over again. It wasn't just the physical. It was the way he made me feel alive. The way his words filled the silence my husband left behind. The way his hands reminded me I was still a woman, not just a wife trapped in routine. But with every meeting, I could feel myself slipping further into a hole I might never climb out of. The pleasure was explosive, yes. But so was the risk. One night, after another rough, breathless session in his apartment, I lay against his chest, my body aching all over. "Why do you let me do this to you?" he asked, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my thigh. I didn't answer. Because how could I? How could I tell him that the ache he left in me was the only proof I had that I was still alive? That's when I realized, I wasn't just cheating anymore. I was addicted. Addicted to his intensity. Addicted to his danger. Addicted to the ache that hurt me, yet kept pulling me back. And I didn't want to stop. I thought I could control it. That I could keep the affair tucked neatly in a box, separate from my marriage, separate from the life everyone thought I lived. But I was wrong. His presence seeped into everything. When my husband touched me, I flinched. Not because I didn't want him, but because my body had grown used to someone else's fire. His strength, his force, his merciless way of consuming me, it had rewired me. I'd lie next to my husband at night, pretending to sleep, and in the darkness I'd feel the ache between my thighs, the reminder of what I had tasted, what I couldn't let go. The lover, let's call him D. D didn't let me forget him. He sent me pictures late at night, of his body, his smile, his bed waiting for me. He left me voicemails, his deep voice curling into my ear, "You're mine. You know you'll come back. You need me." And the truth? I did. Soft whisper aside. Before I go further, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm sharing something raw, something dangerous, and I want you with me till the end. Because what happened next, it changed everything. One evening, I told my husband I was going to visit a friend. Instead, I drove straight to D's apartment. The moment he opened the door, I knew there would be no small talk, no waiting. His hands were already on me, his mouth devouring mine, pulling me inside like I was oxygen he couldn't live without. He bent me over the couch before I could even take off my shoes. His turgidity filled me with such ferocity I gasped, my nails clawing at the fabric. It hurt. God, every time it hurt. But mixed with the pain was that intoxicating high, the bliss I couldn't get anywhere else. I moaned, whimpered, begged, my body trembling under his rhythm. Every thrust felt like punishment, every movement like a promise. And when it was over, I collapsed into the cushions, my body wrecked, my heart pounding like a drum. Lying there, catching my breath, I asked him the question that had been haunting me. Do you ever think about the risk? About what happens if we're caught? He smirked, brushing sweat-soaked hair from his forehead. Does it matter? You keep coming back. That's all I care about. And he was right. I kept coming back. But at home, the cracks were showing. I was distracted, restless, snapping at my husband over little things. I cooked without focus, cleaned without care, lived like a woman with two hearts beating out of rhythm. One night, my husband reached for me, his hands fumbling with clumsy tenderness. I lay stiff beneath him, my body unresponsive, my mind replaying the wildness with D. When he fell asleep, I turned to the wall and cried quietly, torn between guilt and longing. D was my escape, but he was also my prison. Every time I left his bed, I told myself it would be the last. But the ache, his explosive prowess that broke me apart, always pulled me back. I wasn't just cheating anymore. I was unraveling. I used to think I was careful. But by then, the lies were piling up, and the walls between my two lives were thinner than I wanted to admit. I could smell his cologne on my clothes when I came home. I could see the bruises, dark marks on my skin, little reminders of how rough he was, how hard he used me, how much I begged him not to stop. I stood in front of the bathroom mirror one evening, tracing those marks with trembling fingers. They were proof, evidence, signs of a woman living recklessly. Soft pause, breathy tone. And before I let you in deeper, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Because what I'm telling you, I could never tell anyone else. Only you. One night, it nearly came crashing down. My husband was supposed to be out late. I had rushed to D's apartment, heart thundering in my chest, desperate for his touch. The moment I walked in, he had me against the wall. His lips were fierce, his grip brutal, his body slamming into mine until I couldn't breathe. I moaned too loud, clawed too deep, let my voice echo in the tiny room until I was certain the neighbors could hear. But I didn't care. I wanted to be destroyed. Then my phone buzzed. It was my husband. I froze. I should have ignored it. But panic set in, and I answered. "Where are you?" his voice asked. Calm. Too calm. My breath hitched as D's hand slid down my thigh, teasing, daring me to speak. I tried to steady my voice, tried to keep from gasping. I'm just with a friend, I stammered. Dee smirked, whispering in my ear, say it louder, let him hear you breathe. I pushed the call to an end, trembling, caught between fear and fire. That was the first time I truly realized how close I was to being caught. But the danger only made it worse. Because the moment the phone clicked off, I let go completely. I let him pound into me like I wasn't a wife, like I wasn't a woman with responsibilities, but just his body, his need, his aching relief. It hurt. It always hurt. But buried inside the pain was an ecstasy that left me begging for more. Back home, my husband studied me with narrowed eyes. You've been different lately, he said. I forced a laugh, shook my head, kissed his cheek. But deep inside, guilt gnawed at me. Was it guilt, though? Or just fear of losing the one thrill that made me feel alive? By then, I couldn't deny it. I wasn't in control anymore. Dee had become my addiction. His strength, his turgidity, his ruthless ways of claiming me, they were the nightmare I couldn't escape, the ecstasy I couldn't refuse. I was already too far gone. By the time I reached that night, I was no longer myself. I had become a shadow of the woman I used to be, torn between a husband who loved me in his quiet, steady way, and a man who consumed me like fire, leaving nothing but ashes and bruises behind. It happened in a motel just outside town. A cheap place with flickering neon lights, the kind of place no respectable wife should ever be seen. I told myself it would be the last time. I told myself I would break free. But the moment he touched me, I crumbled. Soft moan in the narration, heavy pause. And if you've stayed this far, please, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it, because what I'm about to confess, no woman should have to say out loud. But here I am, naked in my truth. That night, he was relentless. Every thrust, every bite, every rough pull of my body reminded me I had surrendered all control. I begged. I cried. I moaned until my voice broke. And when I thought I couldn't take any more, he pushed harder, deeper, making me feel like my body was splitting open yet desperate for more. It was explosive. It was unbearable. It was pleasure wrapped in torment. Afterward, I lay trembling on the bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, my body aching in places I didn't even know could ache. He lit a cigarette, exhaling smoke like he hadn't just wrecked me. You'll come back, he said simply. And I hated how right he was. But when I walked back home in the early dawn, clothes rumpled, my body sore, my heart heavy, I saw my husband waiting at the door. He didn't ask questions. He didn't accuse me. He just looked at me with those tired eyes, like he knew something was broken between us but didn't want to face it. That was my nightmare. Not Dee's touch, not the pain, not the reckless lust, but the silent knowledge that I had destroyed something gentle and irreplaceable. I still see Dee sometimes. Even when I tell myself it's over. Even when I beg myself to stop. Because his prowess was more than just explosive, it was a drug. And I was the willing addict. Epilogue/closing call to action. So here I am, anonymous, spilling my secrets into this microphone. Not for pity. Not for forgiveness. But for release. If you've walked with me through every moan, every bruise, every confession. Kiss mark, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it. Because somewhere out there, another woman is drowning in the same fire. And maybe, just maybe, my nightmare will be her warning. I should have walked away a long time ago. I should have chosen the safe arms, the steady love, the quiet life. But there's something about him, about the way he invades my body, the way he makes me ache and sore all at once, that keeps pulling me back. I'm addicted, yes. Addicted to his chaos, his hunger, his power. Every time I swear it's the last, I find myself searching for him again, like an explorer lost in the wild, craving the very danger that could destroy her. And maybe that's what love, or lust, or whatever this is, truly means. Not safety, not comfort, but the endless, reckless search for something that makes your heart race, your body burn, and your soul tremble. So I remain, wandering, searching, exploring his darkness, even when it hurts. Because without it, I am empty. Kiss Mark, and if my journey stirred something in you, don't just walk away quietly. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it. Because someone else out there is just as lost, just as addicted, just as desperate to explore forbidden fires, and maybe my confession will guide them through their own.